Happy Tuesday. I'm in a very, very good mood. I'm in an extraordinarily good mood because I thought I would have to wait a very long time for my Mandalorian tea to be proven correct. I was really worried about it, and particularly because other people had been so vicious in their response. Let me just give you some basic update on that, basically. You guys are awesome. You guys come into the live streams. I can give you a little bit of extra tea. So basically, I know something about the Mandalorian that I can't really tell you for a couple of reasons. First, when it started, I couldn't tell you because it would get the person who told me in trouble. They, it's very, this is the group that kept Baby Yoda a secret, so they know what they're doing. So that put me in a difficult position. And then I was like, well, you know what? This is so huge that if I hint at it, maybe another reporter will break the story and then I can cover it, right? And instead, all these reporters decided to hardcore defend Disney for some reason. And it was really weird because some of them were like, the publicist told me that everything with the show is going great. And you're like, of course the publicist is going to tell you everything with the show is going great. It's like, of course they will. It's like if you asked Richard Nixon, say, hey, by the way, did you break into the Democratic headquarters at Watergate? He'd be like, no, of course not. And they'd be like, oh, okay, thanks. This is like, it's not good for Disney. All right. Now, the reason you might be like, Grace, I've had some people say, Grace, why don't you just say it? And I have to say, this morning, I double checked with another source and I said, who I know has very good Star Wars connections. And I said, can you help me out with this? And can you tell me if this situation is still what I heard? Because what I heard happened a couple of months back while they were filming. And so this person, the source told me it happened. It's definitely true. But my source is working to find out what the current situation is. Because Star Wars is such a powder keg that I don't want to say something and then have the people or person in question be like, and honestly defend themselves. I totally understand and say, oh no, that's not true because, things have been patched up. I think there is a chance that things have been patched up to protect season 3. But because of what was said in the Entertainment Weekly article today, I'm able to move a little bit further in what I know, and that they actually admitted that halfway through, they even used the halfway mark. I mean, thank you so much. That really helps me out. They weren't even like, oh, at some point. They were like, no, halfway. Exactly what I told you. They were like, halfway, we're going to switch to totally different characters. And so and so I'm giving you a hint. Why would you need to do that, right? Now, I'm not saying the show is going to be bad. The show could be excellent. But as they've now admitted publicly, in the second half of The Mandalorian Season 2, they don't focus on The Mandalorian, which is kind of crazy for a show called The Mandalorian, which I think kind of underlines how crazy this behind-the-scenes situation is. So that's all I'm willing to say at this point, but I'm very happy that that was said today publicly because it alleviates a lot of pressure off of me. But again, I can't say exactly. I'm trying to find, I have to be really, really careful. I'm really respectful of my sources. They're very nice to tell me this stuff. So I have to be very careful about it. So I'm shocked to the degree that other reporters would protect Star Wars. Either they don't know or their sources they didn't know about this. They straight up believe the publicity office that talks to them, or they're protecting Disney, like they did with the Obi-Wan show. I remember the Obi-Wan show. Everybody was like, oh, the show's fine. And I was like, no, it's not fine. They furloughed the entire crew. Or actually, in this case, I believe that they fired them. Like first they've been furloughed, now they're off. And and then exactly like a week later, everybody was like, yeah, the show's been indefinitely delayed, or at least for a year. We'd let everybody go. And I was like, I told you. So it's the same thing. Star Wars certainly doesn't need any more drama after John Boyega hit them real hard. And I think that everybody's very careful. I don't want to damage people's reputations in terms of, behind, whoever the person I'm talking about is, I don't want to damage anybody's reputation, right? So you just want to be really careful about this. and how they just, and I want to see how it's being handled. I want to see again if it's been patched up, and I want to see, what's just going on. But it was confirmed today. What I told you about a halfway shift off of The Mandalorian was confirmed today by in the interview in the Entertainment Weekly. And they were like, oh, we thought it'd be fun to follow some different characters on a show called The Mandalorian. And I think that, you can start to see where this is headed pretty obviously, because why would you do that? All right, so so it's very interesting. Yeah, you're right. I don't want to you guys are going to get me to say too much stuff. Okay, so let's just move on to different stories, okay? That's all that I want to say about it. It's like a pretty interesting situation, but I'm glad that I didn't even have to wait a week to be proven correct. I didn't have to wait a week. I thought it was going to be really brutal. I thought I'd have to wait till the actual halfway through the season. I was like, oh, this is going to be really tough. But I appreciate that you guys backed me up. And of course, I have some haters, people who are trying to protect, their, rep as like having an inside scoop. And so of course, I don't know, I hope that you will do me the favor of, if you see this places that you point out that I did call it first and I was correct. So I would appreciate that. It's hard. I've had a couple of people be like, why do you always got to point out when you're correct, Grace? It's because, you got to toot your own horn. And also I'm dealing with people who are so aggressive when they're trying to say that I'm wrong. And I wasn't wrong. And I'm sure they won't apologize and be like, oh yeah, I guess there was a huge problem. They're just going to be like, they just probably won't even mention it. I don't know. I don't but I'm very happy to continue to put you guys first and to actually, do some reporting. It's like, I think that entertainment reporters are in a weird space where, they want to be really friendly with the studios and stuff, which, is understandable. But, I think that you have to actually care about your audience and the viewers, like the people you're reporting to. I think the audience is very powerful if the Snyder Cut has proven anything. So it's just a really interesting situation. So I appreciate everyone who believed me and took me at what I said, who believed my track record. And I'm quite happy that, again, it's just been less than a week and there's already evidence that what I'm saying is correct. So thank you very much. You guys are really, really nice. And I gotta say, I'm able to do what I do because of you guys and the fact that you trust me. And I take that trust very seriously, which is why I tell you stuff when I find it out. I think it's important. I think you guys, you should know what's going on. So it's fascinating. It's fascinating stuff. Hopefully there'll be a trailer soon. I told you, the show, I've heard other problems besides the one I'm alluding to here that I've talked to you about before. But, Star Wars has a lot of drama behind the scenes. Again, that doesn't mean the show won't work out, but, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. And I think that, again, I don't want to say anything because I have to see what the current situation is. And I have several sources looking into it for me to find out what's going on. But we'll see when we get the trailer. I think we'll have even more evidence and I'll be able to talk about it even more. I'll be able to point to a little bit more stuff, but I think it's crazy. I can't believe that people were so aggressively saying that I was wrong when I was right. Even when other people have reported scoops I don't necessarily believe, I'm always like, you know what? My sources haven't confirmed that, but let's see. I think that's the very least you should give, professional courtesy to other people. Yeah, Mika, why would I lie? People were like, she's doing it for clicks. I didn't make a video about it. There's no monetization on Twitter. I just did it because I had a scoop. I do a number of things that cover entertainment. One of them is scoops. And so I was like, this is a good scoop. I'm going to tell you guys because it's pretty crazy. I did the best. I did as most as I could that I felt comfortable with. So I appreciate you guys' support. And again, I just can't tell you how much I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. You guys, I really appreciate it. It's really means a lot to me. And, I'm glad that I can deliver for you. I'm glad that I can, I'm glad that you have faith in me and that faith is rewarded, So I'm, because I take that very seriously. So it's pretty insane. All right, so let's get to the 3 stories of the day. This is interesting stuff. All right, I'd be curious to see how anybody justifies saying that there was not a problem when this comes out. I mean, it's the dumbest thing I ever heard. It's like really dumb. All right, so let's go to the 3 stories of the day before I say something to get myself in trouble. You guys are the best. You're wonderful. You guys are my number 1 priority. We have a great relationship. I love you. All right, so story number 1. Boop. Yeah, someone said to me the boops are not professional. Someone actually wrote a comment back to me. They were like, your boops are unprofessional. But you guys love the boops. So it's tough for me to decide what to do about the boops. All right, so Rainbow Nomad says they are professional. Thank you, I appreciate it. I'm glad you like them. That means a lot to me. All right, so story number 1. With Mulan, I've been trying to put the controversy like in a separate area. A lot of people were really against this film because of the problems that it had with what Liu Yifei said about Hong Kong. And I understand people being upset about her comments. However, I felt that the Chinese government is so aggressive that, I don't know if Liu Yifei really had a choice. I mean, as people, hey, Lone Wolf Media, thanks for joining. You're welcome back. I know you've been a member before. If you guys want to ride the membership, it doesn't bother me. I do this because, this is, people who are members mean a lot to me. Like, it was very helpful to me, especially during the pandemic. But I understand people have their own financial situations, and that's why these are public for everybody. These streams are public. But if you're a member, you can comment. But, so either way, I appreciate it. But Lone Wolf Media, welcome back. I'm glad you came back. So anyway, some people have been pointing out, for instance, that Fan Bingbing, she disappeared for cheating on her taxes. The Chinese government literally made her disappear. Like, no joke. They literally made Fan Bingbing disappear for like 6 months, and nobody knew where she was. And she still never talked about where she was because it was so bad. So you're like, yeah, Elliot just brought up Fan Bingbing. So you're like, yeah, it's really bad. And then Jackie Chan, who's always been very pro-China, recently they just took one of his apartments. They were like, you don't need it. They're like, you don't need the apartment. You have enough. We're taking it back for the government. So like, hey, Red Arrow, thanks for joining. I feel like you have to be really understanding of what it's like to live in China, okay? Like, it's not a place of free speech under any circumstances. It's like close to Russia bad. Russia, well, we're going to talk about how bad it gets in China in just a moment. So anyway, I have been giving Liu Yifei the benefit of the doubt that, she did what she could and she didn't really have a choice in the matter. But then it was revealed that people have pointed out that in the credits for the movie of Mulan, they actually thank the government of a region where they filmed. And this region is quite notorious because it has concentration camps full of people who are Muslims in China. And in this camp, it is said that they have forced labor and forced sterilization. That's really obviously horrific. That's just so bad. And they said they filmed there, and I think that it's a very bad scenario. For instance, I've heard that people who are dissidents of the state in China, they also harvest their organs from prison. I've heard really horrible stories about that. Because it's very bad. This is like literal Nazi stuff with the sterilization, the forced labor, and the organ harvesting. It's really bad. So the fact that Disney would film there, I think is like, I don't really know how you can get beyond that. I think it's just really bad. I mean, it's like, oh, what's over that ridge? Concentration camps? Okay, back to filming. You're like, how did you not immediately pick up and be like, I can't film here? It's just from like how about just a moral clause? I mean, again, as I said, Disney, I agree, Caitlin, Disney had to know. I mean, and I think that Disney, has to be really careful. And this happened under Bob Iger's reign. I mean, Bob Chapek, let's see what he does. Although we're going to talk about Disney stock in just a moment. It's doing well. But I think that, hey, James Somerton, thanks for joining. I think that Disney really needs to be careful because they have a brand. They hired back James Gunn, who I feel, hey, as I said, James Gunn can go work anywhere he wants. But I think it's a problem to have someone who made pedophilia jokes working at a company that's for families and children are the focal point of the company. I mean, Disney, look, I know it's a burden for Disney to, like, Disney might be like, why do we have to have rules that other companies don't have to? Well, it's like, well, you benefit tremendously from that image. So Disney just has to, they just have to suck it up. Hey, Andy Awesomes. That's great. That's a great name. But yeah, I just feel like Disney needs to understand that. And I think, and sometimes it seems like with this, I haven't heard of any other studios shooting where there are concentration camps. I just feel like not only does Disney not live by the standards that have made them famous, but they seem to be doing the most to go against them. So I just don't know what to say. I was trying real hard to back everybody up. I was like trying to be understanding and play devil's advocate, but I just don't think this is, I just don't think that you can, hey, Platinum Diva, I just don't think that you can, there's any way to get away with this. And so I think it's really bad for the movie. And I think that going forward, this is a problem with China. If China wants to be like the rest of the world, this is an issue. But, Russia is fine. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we live in a world right now where there are like no rules for anybody. And I think it started with Trump. Well, Trump got his ideas from Russia, and this is not I'm not being anti-Republican. I feel like, Pete Buttigieg made some really good comments off of the Atlantic article where he said, are you a John McCain Republican or are you a Trump Republican? Hey, Mars V. I don't know how this got political all of a sudden. Damn it! But I just want to say quickly, nothing against the Republican Party. I'm against the people who are doing stuff with Trump and following Russia tactics. Like Trump follows the Russia playbook amazingly. And now Trump is so successful with those tactics, you see them filtering down into every part of the media. That's why Twitter has become what it has become. Because people are like, oh, it works so well for Trump, I'm just going to do it. So it's horrible. It's just horrible that that's the case. So I feel like this is what we're dealing with. So you have like Russia and China on the rise and everyone's saying, you know what, let's just let it go because I want to make money. And like, I'm a capitalist. I'm a very strong capitalist. But I feel like this is going too far. Like Jeff Bezos. Hey, make your money, Jeff Bezos, but not at the expense of the people who work for you. Like Jeff Bezos doesn't need to be, like he could take away half of his money. He'd still be a multi-billionaire. And the people who worked for him would be able to, I don't know, sit down and use the bathroom. Like, I'll never forget the worst Amazon story I ever heard was someone's, hey, Emmanuel, I'm glad you're enjoying today's stream. Someone said at Amazon, someone keeled over and died on the job, and it took them like an hour to realize they were dead. But if that person had gone to the bathroom for too long, they would have known immediately. And you're like, that's disgusting. So I'm a capitalist, but to the degree that you should have some humanity. Like I never thought capitalism would get this bad, but it has. And so it's like really, really difficult. So I feel like there needs to be accountability. I think there's a real lack of accountability. There's no accountability, I'd say, anywhere right now. Anywhere on the face of the earth, there's zero accountability. And I think accountability is a key cornerstone to society. I was raised with like a really strong focus on accountability. So that's how I feel. All right. Roy says, are you pro Hollywood stopping catering to China? Yeah, I mean, I think that I can understand them wanting to tap into that market. And I also have to say that I feel very strongly that by bringing these groups into the rest of the world, hey, Whammy, Hammy, that's a great name. If you bring the rest of these groups out into the world and they're not stuck behind the wall of socialism or communism, that maybe the people will rebel. I'm a big fan of that. So I don't want to I don't want to abandon the people of China and Russia, but I think that they can't get this cozy with their governments. That's how I feel about it. I mean, that's how I think it's difficult. What do you guys think? I mean, yeah, I think Matt Go put it well. You shouldn't romanticize a country that has concentration camps. It's really bad. This is the same problem I had with Jojo Rabbit, by the way. Hey, Gabriel Ortiz. That I'm like, I think it was too nuanced. Jojo Rabbit, by the way, being a much lower threshold, obviously. So, all right. So let's get to the next story of the day. But that's bad. Although, you know what? Talk about lack of anything happening. Disney stock is up. So they're like, woo, got survived that one. So, I don't know why the government wouldn't be like, did you just make a movie next to a concentration camp? I think that we're going to have to penalize you. And they're like, I don't do it. I don't understand that. I'd be like, I'm going to fine you. All right. So anyway, that's right. Dancing Dog 60. Money talks. Oh yeah. Boop. I forgot the boop. All right. So the Disney stock is up because Disney Plus is doing so well. It went up 3%. It's doing quite well. Bob Chapek, he's super cheap. Cheap Chapek. He became infamous when he was managing the theme parks for cutting corners. Theme parks are cutting corners right now, but I think that's largely because of coronavirus. So I wouldn't blame that on them, on this, the Disney leadership right now. But anyway, the stock is up because Disney Plus is doing so well. It's raising in numbers, and not only is it doing well on its own, but one of you sent me this interview, I think it was Bloomberg Magazine, or Bloomberg's website, did with Netflix's CEO, Reed Hastings, and they were like, who's your biggest competition right now? And Reed Hastings said, Disney Plus. And he said, they're amazing. I have to tip my hat to them. I never thought they would grow this quickly and do so well. And they're really strong, and we feel that they're our biggest competition in the streaming content space. And I'm like, why would you say that, Reed Hastings? I would never say that. I mean, why would you do that? He's like, let me just give, maybe Reed Hastings is pretty shrewd. So maybe there's a method to his madness. But he just gave a huge gift to Disney Plus. Maybe he was maybe Sharon, he's trying to kill all the other streaming services. He's like, Disney Plus has already made it. Let me make everybody else look like crap. So I thought that was incredible. But yeah, so Disney stock is on the rise because Disney Plus is doing so well. I wonder when we'll get the numbers for how this worked out, but I'm very, very curious. Disney Plus is currently now at around 60 million subs, it seems, and they have like 100 million subs. They're still nowhere near Netflix, but they haven't even been around. I think they haven't even been around for a year, right? I think they launched it around, like November last year. So they haven't even been around for a year, and they're already at 60 million subs themselves. And Netflix, again, remember, hey, Door Donut, that's a great name. You guys are very creative with the namings. I love it. So anyway, Netflix has 190 million subscribers. I mean, again, Disney is so smart because Disney Plus is so cheap. It's dirt cheap. I mean, we'll see if they ever raise the price, but it's like super cheap. I mean, it's like, how could you not have it? So anyway, I'm curious. Who here is anyone here not a Disney Plus subscriber? Oh, some people are not. Dallas is right. Cheap with no content. That's true. They have a real problem. Yeah, Angel, the $30 is a big ask, but let's see how it turned out. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not in Israel yet, Marduk. Hey, Carlos Machado. That's a cool name. Let's see here. Vanderson Valley, HBO Max does have a ton of content. By the way, one of you very smart pointed out that Rebecca, the 1940 version, is actually right here on YouTube. You can watch it, a full version of the movie, and because it's a black and white movie, it looks pretty darn good even in low res. Some of you dropped it. So they see Disney Plus has, all I see here is room to grow. AJ says I stream off of my parents' account. Yeah, my account is split up amongst a number of people too. So it's super cheap, and we've split it amongst several households. It's fantastic. All right, so yeah, so it's amazing. It's amazing. All right, so that's the second story of the day. Now, as for the third story of the day, boop. All right, so third story of the day. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot has sold. And it sold to Peacock. I can't believe it. Poppycock. It's crazy that it sold to Peacock for 2 seasons. And that's Will Smith delivering the news via YouTube to the 2 creators of the reboot who did the YouTube trailer. So it was born on YouTube as a trailer, and now it was furthered on YouTube as an announcement. So Peacock got it. I can't believe it. This means you will be able to watch it for free with commercials. I think that's incredible. Yes, I agree, Jico. It's ridiculous it didn't go to HBO Max. Now, I would like to point out that, yes, as Sam Automatic's ahead of me there, it was originally, and Mika pointed out too, it was originally on NBC. So it's coming home. It's coming home to the Peacock. But here's the problem. This is so embarrassing, in my opinion, for HBO Max. HBO Max has The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air to stream, the original show, and they also have the reunion show on HBO Max. So how did they not complete the set? How do they not complete the set? Peacock must have written such a big check. It's incredible. That's why everybody's smiling so much in that picture, because they just made a ridiculous amount of money. And I got to tell you, I think it was probably worth it, because I'll watch it. I will go to Peacock and stream the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot, because I think it's going to be a big deal. I mean, certainly for me to cover, I will definitely be covering that. Will Smith, Ethan doesn't star. He might maybe show up in some kind of supporting role, but he's producing. Will Smith, also a very savvy businessman. He's going to make that money. Yeah, Joseph, he's smiling at his bank account. He's like, oh boy. And he's going to get a big chunk of that check because he's the big name there. And he put this together. You know, I have to say, Will Smith was very savvy. When that trailer debuted for a Fresh Prince reboot, he wasn't like, oh, that's cute, or try and squish it, because he wasn't in it. He was like, great job. Blew it up by talking about it on his own YouTube channel. And then he's signed those guys, produced it, and made it a big deal. I think it's really impressive. Very, very impressive. All right, so those are the 3 stories of the day. Oh, it's hot today. It's 4:52. We'll go till 5:02. Then tomorrow is the Dune trailer. Dune! I gotta brush up on my pronunciation. I know it all, but it's really tough. I gotta make sure I'm good. That's what I'll be doing in the morning. It drops at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will react, and then I will do a full trailer shot-by-shot breakdown. So tomorrow is Dune Day, and there'll be a stream. Dune Day. Waffles, as I just said, there will be a Dune shot-by-shot. Ellis, I don't know if I'm going to go back and cover Lovecraft Country. I got a lot of stuff to cover. I got Enola Holmes. I've got The Devil All the Time. I have Ratched. I got so much stuff to watch. Raphael says, did you see that CCXP will follow the DC fandom format? I think that's a great idea. I think DC cracked that. Don't forget, this Saturday is the rest of the content if you're interested in it. But anyway, I think that the real question is, do you have the panels? Do you have the panels? And CCXP has a wonderful relationship with DC, so let's see what they need to promote in December. Ethan says, Jason Momoa supporting Ray Fisher. Yeah, you know, that's another thing. A lot of you have been like, Grace, you gotta make a video about Ray Fisher. I gotta be really careful on this. You know, I think you gotta know when to enter a conversation. And I did tweet about it a little bit. I have backed up Ray Fisher in terms of the Jeff Johns comments. I can tell you that I've heard bad things about Jeff Johns from 3 different divisions of Warner Brothers, and none of them know each other. The people don't know each other. I heard from people in creative, I heard from people in publicity, and I heard from people in the executive division. So it's bad, okay? I do understand why Warner Brothers is trying to protect Jeff Johns. I mean, I don't agree with it. I think they're just fighting in a losing battle. But I think it's funny that Jason Momoa backed up Ray Fisher when he just signed to star in that Snowman movie, which is produced by Jeff Johns. So that's going to make it real awkward on that Snowman movie set. And I don't know why Jason Momoa signed on for that movie. I think maybe that is a favor to Warner Brothers, because Warner Brothers is working very hard to blow up Jason Momoa. So, but Jason Momoa, I think he feels like, because, you know, nobody else has backed up Ray Fisher because that's how dicey this situation is. And I have to say that I will tell you here that what Warner Brothers did on Friday was some of the most effective blowback that I've ever seen. It really worked. I think it really worked. So I think Ray Fisher has about a week here to maybe recover. I think Ray Fisher is handling it very well. But I think that what Warner Brothers did and the way they painted the picture was shockingly effective. You know, it's tough. I will say here that I feel that Ray Fisher should really make it clear what he's looking to have happen. I think that's another thing that's confusing people. They're like, Joss Whedon was already fired, John Berg has been fired, and Jeff Johns is no longer at DC Films. So does he want Jeff Johns totally out? I think he should be really clear as to what he wants. Just Lewis says the Warner Brothers statement felt really unprofessional to me. I feel that saying what somebody said to you in a private phone conversation is also bad. I think Warner Brothers was upset and on damage control. So it's like, it's bad on both sides. But I do believe Ray Fisher. I just don't understand what Ray Fisher wants. Let's see here. Jonathan says, is Candyman still releasing in October? Let's see. I think that, movies could move at any time. I think that we'll see what the Dune trailer says tomorrow. Will it still have the release date, or will it just say coming soon? We'll see what happens with Wonder Woman. I think they'll move Wonder Woman any day, because as I said on Movie Math, they can't have Wonder Woman hitting theaters is the weekend that Tenet finally hits New York and Los Angeles and San Francisco, if the theaters are open at that point. Austin, I have been really enjoying Deceased. I'm only reading the main title, though, but I am enjoying it very much. I was sad to see that Tom Taylor's Suicide Squad got canceled, but I understand it because I think they probably wanted to match the movie more. Logan, I will be covering Ratchet. I've watched 3 of the screeners. I got to finish it so I will be reviewing it when the embargo drops on Monday. Rashad, I'm not doing the Suicide Squad breakdown anymore. It just, things got so crazy, and then Chadwick Boseman's tragic passing. And also, I missed some stuff in my breakdown. It wasn't to the level that I would want it to be, because I was doing 4 breakdowns in a day. So I will just break down the next Suicide Squad situation. John, I am a southpaw. I am a lefty, left-handed. Dancing Dog 60, Warner Brothers will not send out Tenet screeners because Christopher Nolan says it needs to be seen on a big screen. So there will be no screeners. So I can't watch the movie. Sufjan, I will review Tenet when it becomes available for me to watch streaming. Roy, yes, of course we'll continue to cover Suicide Squad. Definitely. Ellis says, what big movies do you think will cave for PVOD? I think Candyman. Remember there was that rumor, Tony Todd said, he liked some tweets talking about how it might be a simultaneous release. It might do, but I got to tell you, Bill and Ted crashed and burned theatrically because it's available for streaming. So I think Bill and Ted made it look really not like a good idea to do a simultaneous release, to be honest with you. So I think they're going to have to decide what they want to do. But you have to remember, the African-American community is particularly hard hit by coronavirus. They seem to be more susceptible even from like a medical standpoint. Hey, forgetting the economic situation. Hey, Colby Cage. So it would be really bad publicity to make a movie where you tell a community to come out because Jordan Peele, Nia DaCosta, Yahya Abdul-Mateen II. It's an incredible picture. So I think that you wouldn't want to have a problem like that. Sorry, it's very hot, so my air conditioning turned on. We only have 3 minutes left. Sohn says, Grace, what do you think about the verdict will be in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard case? I have no idea, but they're having a problem right now, and that Johnny Depp wants to delay the filming he wants to delay the case because he has to go film Fantastic Beasts 3, and Amber Heard's like, if you delay this case, then I'm going to have to delay because then I got to go shoot new Aquaman 2. And they're both, by the way, for Warner Brothers, which is like super awkward. Warner Brothers is like, I can't believe we employ both of these people. And I think that also obviously confirms that Amber Heard is still in Aquaman 2, which I have mixed feelings about. I have to tell you, I thought she was very, very good as Mira. I think at this point, I think they both did bad things. I would honestly like to see Amber Heard and Johnny Depp just move forward. And I think we should all move forward. I don't think we should hold it against either of them. And we should just move forward. That's how I personally feel about it. I think this was a very bad chapter for both of them. Hey, Will Fields. Caitlin, no update on Robert Pattinson right now. Cobley, I'm glad you just joined, but I can't tell. I explained at the beginning of the stream why I can't just straight out say what I know about The Mandalorian. Mika, I think Mank is interesting. I can't wait for a trailer. I think it's a very odd choice for David Fincher to do a classic Hollywood story when he is such a modern director, but I'm very curious to see what he does with it. Ty, I haven't heard anything about The Little Mermaid. I don't believe they have started filming yet. But I gotta say, while Hailey Bailey seems to be growing up awfully quickly, I'm like, is she too risque to be a Disney princess? I'm not sure. But I have to say, her profile is raising so much that I think if she's just right on the line and is very careful about it, she could be a really big name by the time that movie comes out. Alan, I highly recommend Mindhunter. It is a phenomenal show. Lisa agrees with me. Yeah, I think a couple of her outfits are like really on the line about whether or not it's appropriate for Disney. But again, if she can just manage to just stay on the right side of being just age appropriate, I think it'll work. Stardust 490 says, do you think Black Widow will be on Disney Plus? You know what? Let's see what they decide about some earlier pictures. I think Soul will go to Disney Plus first before Black Widow. And we don't know what the Mulan numbers are. Also, Mulan is now a tainted experiment for Disney Plus because it's all this political stuff. So I'm not quite sure. But I got to tell you, here's the thing. It's not a bad thing about Tenet. It's not saying Tenet's a bad movie. The thing is that can you release a movie right now and make your money back? That's the real question. And it looks like the answer is no. So let's see what Tenet's second weekend drop looks like. Soul. Oh, yeah, you're right, Aaliyah. Soul does come out after Black Widow. Oh, you're right. I don't know. Black Widow, that would really blow. Okay, let me ask you this. That would really blow up Disney Plus. If Black Widow was a Disney Plus purchase for $30, would you pay for it? And remember, you can watch it as many times as you want. So we have yes, yes, I would buy it, yes, 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 yep. Or I have one no, 110% from, who said that? That was funny. Just Lewis. Yeah, pretty much everybody would buy it. So if Disney wanted to make a ton of money, I'm doing a lot of snaps today in today's stream. If Disney wanted to make a ridiculous amount of money, they would put it on there. Dallas would, says Dallas. That's funny. Jico says, should we check out One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest before Ratchet? You can if you want to really be in the zone, but I have to tell you that they are nothing alike. They are absolutely nothing alike. You do not have to watch it whatsoever to get anywhere ready for Ratchet. You'd be better off watching Hitchcock movies, to be honest with you. I'd watch Vertigo, and I would watch Psycho. I would watch that stuff. All right, it's 5:04. I must go. You guys are wonderful. I love talking to you so much. You're so much fun to talk to every day. Tomorrow's stream will be at around 4 o'clock as well. All right, and I'll see you tomorrow for the Dune trailer. Dune! Okay.